So today we are going tractor shopping.
You can turn as well.
You're setting your RPM and you're going to work in that range. Okay. So, like right now, loader goes up and down really slow, right?
What do you think?
I like it. I like the size. I think it would work really well for us. I think it's we don't need anything too big. This just feels like big enough, I think.
So we're buying land in Vermont, and most of the lots that we're looking at, they have forests. We're looking at acreage, something, you know, more than 10-20 acres. And we are starting to think about like what are all the things that we will need to do during the construction phase and afterwards, take care of our land. And a tractor came up as a thing that probably would be useful for us.
So a tractor, we've never owned a tractor before. We know we need to clear some trees. So just being able to move logs and all the kind of the branches and things around all the brush. We know we're going to need to move bulk materials. So we've got things like sand and dirt and topsoil and things that we want to be able to move around. And we're also going to be unloading things, whether it's from a trailer or from the truck or wherever, even just moving pallets of things around. We're talking about lumber, we're talking about sort of bulk materials and things.
And it's Vermont and winter. We're probably also going to need to plow the snow.
Yep. So just having kind of a multi-purpose vehicle, not just for the construction, but longer term on the land, just kind of makes sense to us. And we looked at different vehicles that we could use. Do we need a mini excavator? Do we want a skid steer? Do we want a tractor? And for the construction, the tractor probably isn't going to be the vehicle that we use all the time. We'll probably still depend on renting mini excavators or whatever as and when we need them. But longer term, the tractor is going to be something that we want to have so that we can do that maintenance on the land and everything else. And it can probably help us quite a lot during the construction. So it does make sense to get it earlier, and we'll do as much as is safe and possible to do, but we don't need to go overkill. We don't need to get a tractor that we can try and do everything for construction with. We can handle that separately.
And we thought through, do we rent or buy a tractor? We kind of did the back of envelope calculation of like what kind of all the things we might use it for, how many hours for, and how much that rental will cost, let's say for 2 years of work. And then what are the costs associated with buying a tractor? So, buying the tractor, probably sales tax, getting tags every year, and like the cost of the maintenance and the fuel and so on. And it's kind of very rough back of envelope calculation. Just even for 2 years, it makes sense to buy it. And not even talking about that long term, It would be nice to have a tractor that would be able to do a lot of things on a larger acreage.
And particularly because we're looking for plots that are more remote, having a vehicle that allows us to be self-sufficient. Let's say the truck got stuck or something and we needed to be able to tow that out or clear some snow or some mud. Like having that vehicle on hand, I think it's just going to be really useful, as opposed to having to try and rent every time and maybe, paying the fees for the rental each time, the transportation fees and scheduling everything as well. I think it's just a lot of simplicity by owning our own tractor.
Okay, so what size of tractor are we looking at?
So we've been researching a lot. We've been asking a lot of questions of people we know with tractors. We've been looking at a lot of YouTube videos and blogs and things. And as we looked at things, we don't want something too big. So we originally started looking kind of in the 20 to 50 horsepower range, and we very quickly realized that horsepower isn't actually a big help for us. So horsepower really does a lot of good when you're doing big implements, and you're particularly using PTO implements, so the power takeoff, things that are spinning discs and wheels and things at the back.
Power takeoff, that's the thing that's on the back of the tractor.
Yeah, so we're talking about like mowers and rotary tillers and all those things. In those situations, if you have more horsepower, you can run bigger equipment at the back there. But we don't really have a need for that. We want things like the loader and pallet forks that can lift. And all of those things depend on the loader capacity, which is really controlled by the size of the hydraulic pump. And bigger tractors tend to have bigger hydraulic pumps, but within an individual range, you can actually get quite a big range in horsepower with the same hydraulic pump. So Diana right now is sitting on a Kubota L3301. So this is roughly a 33 horsepower trailer.
Tractor.
33. I keep saying trailer. I've got trailers on my mind. So got a 33 horsepower tractor. This has the exact same loader as their 39 horsepower one, and in fact as their 25 horsepower one. So for us, having it over 30 horsepower kind of unlocks having some slightly larger implements at the back if we did want to start towing or dragging behind us, kind of like box blades and things like that. It's got then the power to do that quite nicely, but it's not got, we don't need like the 50 horsepower or something. We could go up to the 50 horsepower sizes. So if we looked, we did look at the L4701, we looked at the 3560, which is less horsepower but a bigger loader. Having the bigger loader would be nice, don't get me wrong. This one can lift about 1,100 pounds. The larger ones are lifting somewhere around twice that, like over 2,000 pounds. But honestly, like the number of times I can imagine us unloading more than 1,100 pounds, like we've then got to do something with it, and it's just the two of us. We're not trying to feed a crew of people who are like waiting on us to do stuff. So yeah, I'm sure there'll be times when we need to unload an entire bunk of 2x6s, or we've got giant bags of sand we're trying to unload. And honestly, in those situations, we'll just either pay someone to unload it for us, like a delivery driver, or if we need to, we'll just go and rent the right equipment. But going up to that bigger size is a big extra increase in cost. It also makes the tractor bigger, which gives us less maneuverability in kind of some of the tighter trails that we might have on a property, and around trees and things like that. So for us right now, we're looking at kind of an L3301, and like I say, that's 33 horsepower and can lift something around 1,100 pounds.
So we've done a lot of research online, and last weekend we stopped by the dealership, and then today we are at the dealership in Burlington, SX Equipment, and we spoke with Chris, and he's been super helpful, and we actually got to drive the tractor today. And I have never driven a tractor. I've been in a tractor at my grandparents' place, and I've sat on a lap while my granddad was driving the tractor, but today I just got to drive it for the first time, and I thought that it might be hard to turn it around, but it actually has very, very tight turning radius, and it actually kind of seemed fun, so I might be driving the tractor too, not just Matt. So we're not ready to buy one just yet, because first we need to actually buy the land, but once we have land, then I think we'll definitely go with the tractor. So yesterday we were at a dealership in Burlington, and today we are checking out the tractor dealership in Middlebury. And here they have lots of implements, and we will need some of them. So here, let me show you what kind of stuff we're looking at. So this is a ballast box. You put it at the back of the tractor to keep the weight on the back so it balances out the front. Although there are other options of how to get ballast, for example, liquid in the tires. These are different size snow plows. Here we have, what are they called? Pallet forks?
Pallet forks.
Here we have pallet forks. We're probably gonna want that
Yeah, we're gonna
pretty
want
soon.
some with a higher back though. So like, I don't know what rating these are, but we want to have the guard rail at the back, maybe not this high, but like higher than this, so that the brick guard, so that nothing can fall off and hit the tractor or us.
Yeah. So what do we have here?
These are the grapples that I'm kind of interested in. I don't know what these sizes are. I'm not that familiar with them. But for moving logs, moving brush and things, we do want a grapple. It's kind of important to know that because it means we need the third function hydraulic on the front. So that can be an aftermarket thing, that's fine, but it's just something to think about at this stage.
We just noticed these half-tire things. We have absolutely no idea what they do. If you do, let us know in the comments.
So how does this compare to the one yesterday?
Oh man, it all feels the same. I mean, this one has seats that's more up and down bouncy, but that's the same as that limited edition tractor we set in that.
As you can see, we're at the pinnacle of tractor evaluation. We're up to up and down bouncy on the seats.
Otherwise, I don't know, it looks the same.
So this is the MX6000. This is quite a lot larger than the one we saw yesterday. Like the wheels yesterday would have only been up to like here somewhere on this one. So this is quite a lot larger.
Yeah.
Does it feel like, as you're sitting there, does it feel bigger looking forward?
Maybe a tiny bit. I can barely see the bucket versus I feel like on another one I could just about see the bucket.
Yeah, I mean, standing like looking at it, it definitely looks bigger. And this is a 60 horsepower, but it's the same chassis and things as the MX 5400, I think, which is the one that I think if we were to go larger, we would probably get. I just don't think we need the power. I don't think we need the size. And you pay quite a lot more for it. And yes, it's a lot more tractor. It's probably twice the tractor in terms of its lifting ability and its horsepower and these things. I just don't know that we need that. And so why? I'm sure we could use it if we had it, of course, but yeah. So what have I got here? A New Holland. Is it Workmaster 25? So I'm guessing 25 horsepower tractor.
Yeah. How do the controls look like?
So
different pedals.
Yeah, so this, I'm guessing, yeah, this is a manual. This is not a hydrostatic, which I think we want because we don't need the extra sort of torque. I just want the simplicity of the hydrostatic because we're new to this, and yeah, I think that makes sense. Otherwise, though, it's pretty familiar. So one of the things that we're not going to be adding on the tractor is a backhoe, and the reason for that is with small tractors like we're looking at, the backhoe just can't do a lot of the things we need, unlike this thing. So this is pretty much the biggest mini excavator that they rent here at Essex Equipment, which is kind of roughly in the area where we're looking at land. And this thing is a beast, and in comparison to the backhoe that we get on a tractor, there really is no comparison. This thing, clearing trees, digging holes, trenching for utilities and things. This will let us do a lot of what we need. It's too big to tow behind the truck, but they can deliver that, that's no problem.
So over the weekend we visited multiple tractor dealerships and we visited one rental place. Just kind of get a sense of different dealerships. We read advice online that when buying tractors you actually should care also about the dealership and the service and the kind of parts that they provide, and that should also, I read that you should buy the tractor that is the most common in the area. We learned a lot. And once we have property, we'll be a lot better prepared to actually buy a tractor. We'll see how the timing of it all works. Actually, looks like the tractors are in high demand and they are sold out as well. And the used market is also very hot, and it's very hard to find used tractors as well. So we have narrowed it down between Kubota L3301 and Kubota L3901. One dealer was saying that it might take 3 months for a tractor to come in. We'll see how it plays out, but now we know a lot more about tractors. Thanks for watching, and if you're not subscribed yet, please do so to follow along our adventure in buying land and building our house, and we'll see you in the next video.